So even though I'm Eastern Orthodox, the most persecuted people are religion. It's the Roman Catholic people, far and away the most persecuted people, both today and in the last century and in the century before that and in the last 500 years. Um, the Roman Catholics are not capitalists, but I mean, technically they're the most ancient form of socialism, the Roman Catholic Church. But they've been slaughtered in the Holodomor, in the hard communist takeovers, the purist communist Marxist Leninism, uh, Maoism, uh, destroyed in the Philippines by the Imperial Japanese. Hitler even went after the Roman Catholics. And then something strange happened. In 1981, the FMLN, which was this little nothing of a communist guerrilla party. I mean, they were no threat to the Salvadorian government whatsoever. And the Salvadorian uh, government, uh, basically military, but they were military police, basically. The United States welcomed them and paid for their tickets to the School of the Americas in Fort Benning, Georgia, educated them in psychological warfare, and then sent them back to El Salvador. Now, four nuns between the ages of 75 and 85, and a 40 something Catholic lay worker were found dead. They had been repeatedly raped, tortured, and then murdered. Five of the six perpetrators went to the School of the Americas, were trained at the School of the Americas. Archbishop Romero in the cathedral in El Salvador said something not communist, not revolutionary, just a very Catholic statement. Those who have a voice should speak out for those who do not have a voice. And then he said, and this was too much, he said, he pleaded for the government to go easy on the poor people and not be as brutal to them. Well, he was shot in front of the congregation as he was giving out the Eucharist. And then the government of El Salvador machine gunned people, and there were people trying to get out, and they were laying flat on the steps of the cathedral. Then later on, there were 9 priests, 9 Jesuits, who thought they'd be safe because what did they have to do with the fight? They weren't communists. Catholics aren't communists. They were there just to pray for people and maybe give out food to the poor people. And they were tortured and murdered. 9 of them. Now, Archbishop Romero, the El Salvadorian officers, had a lotto to see which one, who would be able, what is it, who who would get the honor of gunning down Archbishop Romero. This is why El Salvador looks like what it is today. And the FMLN, the Farabundo Martí Liberation, National Liberation Front, if you look at them, they were more Catholic than communist. Communist was just the opposite of what was going on at the time. So they had red and black, and they Marx and Engels and Lenin. But first and foremost, they were Roman Catholics. That sense to be Roman Catholic. This is very similar to Mexico. To this day, in Mexico, holding a mass outside or can be punishable by firing squad. People should educate themselves about the Cristero War. And then, of course, there's the Sandinistas and the Contras. And it's funny, these rich white American brats talk about, oh yeah, the Catholic Church, and they just, religion just wants war, and Christianity just wants war. You can tell that they're descended from the Anglo-Saxon. Because if they were from the Celt from Ireland or the Mestizo from Central America or Mexico, they wouldn't be saying these things. So when you hear a white person ranting and railing about how religion is an evil thing, it needs to be stamped out and that they're anti-theists. Remember what the anti-theists were like in the 80s, in the 70s, and in the 30s. Because sometimes, actually most of the time, anti-theism meant rape and murder on massive industrial scale. Peace to you. And that's just a fact.